Hey, babe.
Hi.
What are we doing now?
We are gonna cut some acrylic.
Yeah? For what?
This,
For that?
sub, what's it called?
The sump.
Sump.
Yep. We're gonna make a sump today.
Yeah.
So what we have in your hands is we got a 1/4 inch sheet of acrylic from Lowe's. It's about $20. I already went ahead and marked it up for the scoring process. My lovely wife is going to explain and demonstrate how to cut acrylic here shortly. But what else we have is we have a 15-gallon just standard tank that we're going to be using as our sump, and a few other items here such as the silicone we used earlier, 2 T-squares, some Sharpies, measuring tape, acrylic cutters, vice grips, and an iPad box. You'll also notice on the tank I already went ahead and set up how I want my baffles. You ready to cut some acrylic?
Yeah.
Alright, you need to flip that over.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Alright.
I think we started.
There's your acrylic cutter. You know how to do it?
I'll just do what I saw you doing.
Alright, so you
Yeah?
put this edge, this little fishhook edge right here in the plastic to where it's down, like pull down on it.
Oh.
And then you just slowly drag it towards you. Hold the acrylic because the acrylic's going to slide on that tank. And yep, and drag it, and you'll see it starts to peel up shavings of acrylic. You need to press harder. Don't be afraid to manhandle it a little bit there.
Okay.
There we go. Let's try it again. There you go. There you go. And so what you do is you pull that. We've already scored it once. So there you go. Now go and score it like 2 or 3 more times, and then we'll snap it. And it's that simple. For this one, we're just going to do a 3-chamber system. While she does that, this is going to be our drain where our protein skimmer is going to be. She's getting my curve 5, so we went ahead and measured that out. Ignore this left line right here. That was me messing up on a measurement. And then we're going to have a refugium in hers just because I want to make her filtration simple. And then over here is going to be the return section, which houses a single reactor and a pump, and a return pump. So just so y'all kind of have an idea, I'll go ahead and mark that out. Alright, are we done?
I think so.
Alright, do you want me to snap? Do you want me to snap it for the first time, or do you want to snap it?
I've never done this, so.
You want me to snap it?
Yeah.
Alright. Let's snap this acrylic because Paul's never done it. So I've got it firm on the tank, which I usually like to use a hard table or something, but if you look at our living room over here, it's empty. And you just apply a little bit of pressure. And it snaps. That simple. That's how you cut acrylic. So we're going to do that for the rest of these pieces here. We're going to score them and snap them to get them to fit. One little trick, guys. If you're not very confident, you can always use a straight edge to help guide your cutter, just that way you get the cleanest line as possible. Also, I like to make my sheets about a 1/4 inch shorter than what they need to be. As far as for this distance here, just because it makes fitting them easier. Another thing just to be aware of, silicone does not like to bond to acrylic. I have no problems using it in a sump like this because it's not going to leak. Because this is all glass, it's not going to leak all over my house. It just means the acrylic plates aren't going to be as secure as they would as if they're glass. So got that scored, we'll go ahead and this one's not wanting to do it. I need to score a little bit more, I guess. Sometimes it's still difficult when you have the plastic wrap on underneath. That's why I like to use a table, so that way you don't fall. But anyhow, so there's 2 of our baffles. Our third one, or actually I guess so these are going to be for the baffles, the bubble trap that goes before the return. These pieces are 11.5 by 9. No, sorry, 11 3/4 by 9. They're both identical.
Is there a label on it?
No, I don't need to label them.
No, to show them?
The label?
Yeah.
Optics
Like
acrylic.
the size?
I thought about getting fancy and getting some black acrylic, but Lowe's doesn't carry it, and shit's expensive.
Oh.
I would, if I got it, I would have got it from Amazon, but quite frankly, I wanted to get some of this stuff done today. As my wife knows, I'm very impatient, and actually, as I'm sure you guys know, I'm impatient based off my other aquarium builds. I just kind of buy shit and worry about it later. But I've got a wife now that keeps me in check, so I can't do that as much. Try not to, I'm scared. I'm really scared.
We could go to the table.
I don't want to go to the table. Let's go to the kitchen. Let's go to the kitchen. See, that way you don't fall. You use hard surfaces. So this little guy is extra. You can get fancy with extra acrylic if you want. I'm not going to do it in this case. I just want to keep it simple and functional and fairly clean. So the reason I have the vice grips, when you get to little pieces such as this guy right here that you have to cut off, because obviously that square peg and round hole doesn't work. The vice grips help you get a lot of leverage to snap it off, as well as when you have to cut little corners where the silicone in the tank meets the acrylic here. You don't want to puncture that silicone because that's your seal to keep shit from getting all over your house. The vice grips I found help give me a lot of leverage to keep smaller pieces. And as you see, we're making a huge mess. Tanks over there all messy, water everywhere, acrylic over here all messy. It smells like silicone in our house. My wife doesn't know what she got herself into. But the good news is, after this, in a couple days, we'll do the plumbing and there shouldn't be any more stinky smells. So vice grips, that simple. You're gonna have to do it a few times just because obviously it's only putting pressure on a small area, but without doing it, I mean, you just can't get the leverage to snap it off. And I'm sure there's actual stuff out there, like professional tools you can buy. Since I'm not a pro, I'm a hobbyist, I find other ways to make this shit work. Now, and as you'll see, we're getting some rough edges. You can always just get some sandpaper, run it over it, and take care of those edges. But in my case, I'm just going to keep them from getting pointy, so that way it fits. And I'll just make sure I silicone that into the wall of the tank. Go ahead and stop it. All right, so all the acrylic's cut. I'm just kind of starting to size it up. And use my T-square here. What I'm gonna do, since I got it in the spot where I want it. Actually, not quite. Let me measure the other side real fast, just to make sure it's even. It's a little crooked to me. Let's see here. That's 7.5, and this is just under 7.5. I knew it. I knew it. So this is the 10-piece. This is the 10-piece sheet of acrylic, or sorry, 10-inch piece of sheet. You guys know what I'm saying, right? This is my piece of acrylic. It goes in the fish tank. But anyhow, I'm just kind of test fitting it, make sure it's in there. And then what I'm gonna go ahead and do is take my T-square, so that way it stands straight. Put it right there. Normally I would use masking tape or painter's tape for this next step, but I can't find it, called being unprepared, so I'm just gonna use some Scotch tape. Really, you just need, these pieces are fitting snug enough that I can get away with it. But I'll put a few pieces on there, and then I will silicone this piece in. Ah, shit cack. That's kind of my word there, guys. No one steal it from me, please. All right, so now I got that in position. This is where the caulking gun comes in handy versus the little tubes, so that way you can get down in the fish tank. And I am super generous with my silicone. Yeah, get it in there nice and good. Yeah. And you'll do the same thing that you did with the overflow box. After you lay your bead, you'll run your finger through it just to kind of clean things up, because no one likes a messy mess. I mean, and I'm sure you guys remember my videos from the 60-gallon where I first built my first sump. Actually, no, sorry, the 34-gallon, and how ugly and disgusting it was. Nasty. I do silicone on both sides, at least on the edges. On the bottoms, I don't worry about too much because, I mean, you're not going to get that much water leaving the tank from the bottom. But again, I got a healthy bead of silicone I'm running. That, and I don't work well in small spaces, so getting the bottom makes it hard. So you got that. I'll put that on my iPad box so it doesn't get on my wood floors and my wife kills me. And I just run my finger down, get all the excess silicone. Single little jingle. Yuck. Not unwasteful. It's a good thing this shit's paid for. That. I'm just wiping my fingers on the excess plastic from the acrylic because I'm gonna throw it away anyway. I wish I could reuse it, but I don't think that I would be able to really do that. Excess acrylic, or excess silicone off the acrylic. Boop, 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 boop. And again, it can get kind of messy, but I don't really care too much if the sump gets a little messy because it's the sump. But I just look at the side here, super healthy bead of silicone. It's going to take 12 to 24 hours for it to dry. But basically that piece of acrylic is going to stay there. Like I said, if it's glass, it would never break its bond, but I'm comfortable with just using acrylic. It's easier to come by. So for these next pieces, these are going to be our 9-inch baffles right before the return. So we're going to have one that goes straight up and down like so, and then the second one, which is actually the one we're going to do first, is going to be elevated off the ground. So that way when the water comes in, it drains down, goes into the skimmer, overflows into the refugium, does its thing there, goes over this middle baffle, and then under this last baffle to keep any bubbles from going into the return, and that's how you keep bubbles out of your tank. So that is where the iPad box comes into play. We'll take that piece out, take this piece out, get our iPad box, bam, put it right in the bottom like that. And then, oh, and actually it's even shorter than what I want it to be, but oh well, it'll work. It still works. Trust me, it still works.
So why are you using the iPad box?
So I'm using the iPad box to silicone this piece in because it's going to be elevated off the ground or off the bottom of the tank to allow water flow through. So once this actually sets, I'll remove the iPad box, and then we'll come back tomorrow and set the last piece of acrylic.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so that. And I'm out of my other fancy right angle, so I'll use this one just to kind of, honestly, it's just to add a little more support because I don't have anything to do it. I don't have anything to add support with, so I basically just placed it flush on the ground, on the, I don't know why I say ground, I'm not a fucking idiot, on the glass, and I'll tape it, and then I leaned it up against the iPad box to keep it standing straight, and I'll tape it to the bottom glass as well as the piece of acrylic, and that will help secure it while the silicone dries. And then I know you guys are super excited, but this will be the last part of the video for today. We'll come back tomorrow and finish the sump. So do that there. Grab this guy right there. And see, this is where small hands come into play. Babe. My hands are too big, so they don't like to work well. They don't play well with others. I really hate not having actual tape, but Scotch tape works on the fly. You just gotta use a lot of it. Cool. So that will hold that. Time to lay some silicone. You wanna do this one, babe?
No, you got it.
How come I gotta do all the messy shit?
You're the guy.
So that's
You're doing the manly work.
manly work. Should we open up that can of worms, people? Manly work. In this day and age, I believe women ask for equal rights. Which I'm all for. I'm not some fucking asshole, but I think the term manly work should go away then. There should be work that you want to do and work you don't want to do. Oh no. And this is where my tip is too long, or too short, sorry, to get really up against in there between the right angle. Oh, but I got it. Whew. And so I like to be a little extra generous on this piece because it's only secured by the sides. And I'm gonna have a really hard time getting some silicone on this back side just because it's such a small area. I'm trying to maximize the refugium. So it's really only gonna be held on one side. I might be able to get some in there, let's see. Even if I could just get a few little dabs, it would be better than nothing. Oh, there we go. There we go. Get her done. Real good. You like it like that? Yeah. Also, for those of you that have seen my videos before, what do you think of the new style of filming? Having someone actually film me do shit versus me just narrate like I'm a know-it-all. Give me some feedback because I kind of want to start doing this. It's not about subscribers or anything like that. Honestly, it's to give me something to do. Another hobby. I have a very short attention span, and yeah, I like to do shit. Anyhow, if you guys like this style of videos and you like the content or whatever, give me some thumbs up, comment, subscribe. I need subscribers, I guess. Even though I say it's not about the subscribers, I guess I do. Because otherwise, what's the point if no one wants to hear me talk? But anyhow, so we're gonna leave you guys at it right now. This will be part 1 of the sump build. We got 2 baffles in. We're gonna let them cure. We'll come back tomorrow after they've cured overnight, put the 3rd one in, and that'll pretty much be it as far as the customizing, other than getting the plumbing done. But the plumbing's gonna be super simple. Until next time, see you guys later.